Today, I'm going to show you how to make dry-aged beef. And these steaks have the most amazing crust, and each bite will just melt in your mouth. So stay tuned, because this recipe is up next. Here I've got about a 6-pound boneless beef ribeye roast. As you can see here, I spent about $7 per pound, but when we're finished here, it's going to be worth about $20. Now, when you're dry aging beef at home, you usually want to seal it up with a vacuum sealed bag. And it would probably work just keeping it in this one, except for the fact that it still has a lot of blood in it. So we're going to cut this open and pull this thing out. I like to just put it in a bowl with some paper towels and dab up all that moisture. We are, after all, dry aging beef. And as you can see here, we've got a beautiful piece to work with. Now, when you're dry aging beef at home, you usually want to use dry aging bags like this one here. This will protect the meat from the other ingredients in your fridge, as well as allow the moisture to escape as it dry ages in your refrigerator. These bags are designed for a full-size bone-in ribeye roast, but because mine is a third the size, I like to pack it tight into one side and at the bottom of the bag. Now we can submerge the meat in a bucket of water, pushing all of that extra oxygen out of the bag. Then you can pinch off the top of the bag, spin it tight until there's no room left against the meat, more or less creating our own homemade vacuum sealed bag. Now all we need is a zip tie to hold it for a second. Then we come back with a zip tie to make it tight. Cut off the excess. Now we'll just throw it down on a rack in a roasting pan that allows the air to flow all the way around the meat. Now the refrigerator needs to regulate 32 to 38 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you dry age your beef in a crisper drawer, you can regulate the humidity, which needs to stay and maintain about 80 to 85%. Experts recommend 21 to 28 days of aging, and here's what mine looked like after a full 28. Definitely a lot darker, but let's see what we've got. Cut open the end here, and let's peel this baggie open. Now, one of the first things you want to pay attention to is the smell, and I'm not smelling anything at all, and that's what you want. If you're smelling spoilage, it's spoiled, but I don't, so we're good to go. In fact, as far as I can tell, this aged perfectly, like a fine wine or cheese. And if I cut 1.5-inch steaks, I could probably get 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 5 steaks. And you want to be sure to use a sharp knife because this outside layer is tough. But it's full of penicillins, so don't be afraid of it. It's good for you. Now that, my friends, is perfection. But we gotta cut another one because that's just the heel. And that's why I said use a sharp knife. Especially now because we've got to remove that outside layer. And take a mental note here. The more you cut off, the more you're not eating. You only want to shave off the amount like a chocolate truffle. And these shavings can be saved, by the way. They can be rendered. You can use this fat to get more flavor to your steak. So don't throw it out. This fat portion right here, we don't need it on the steak, but we can use it. So we're going to go ahead and cut that off because a portion this size can most definitely be rendered. In fact, we're going to throw that in a hot pan right now and get that fat melted. Now, believe it or not, this is all you're going to need. But in the meantime, we're going to hit this steak with some kosher salt and pepper. And honestly, that's all it's going to need, because this dry aging process has affected this in ways that you can't even fathom if you've never tried this before. It's going to blow your mind. In fact, I have one of the best pan-fried ribeye recipes you could ever try. But it's garlic, butter, rosemary, and thyme. Nothing wrong with that, right? That sounds great. But I'm telling you, you don't need that with this steak. And grilling is going to mask up its natural flavors as well, so I recommend you stay away from that too. Now back to our hot pan. You can see our fat's rendered down just enough to lay down our dry aged ribeye steak. I like to apply just a little bit of pressure, make sure we're nice and flat. With that moisture loss here, you're going to see a crust develop here across that bottom like you've never seen. Which is just another reason why I stay away from a grill when I'm cooking dry aged beef. Now check this out. Wow! Did I tell you or did I tell you? We gotta go in for a close-up. And it's not even a cast iron skillet. You'll never see a better crust than that. But just like you do that garlic butter, you want to take that rendered fat, splash it over the top of that steak. And after a couple minutes on both sides, I'm going to go ahead and take that to an oven. And depending on your taste, I'm going to let that spin about 5 to 7 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And once that's done, I like to throw a rack down here over the top of the pan. I'm using some tongs here because it's hot. We're going to go ahead and pull that steak out, set it right over that rack and right over the pan. Give it some air time, let it breathe. And after about 8 to 10 minutes, it's cooled down enough to give it a slice. And that, my friends, is a perfect medium rare. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. Cut a real slice here for you. By the way, I just hit 200,000 subscribers. I want to thank you all for that. And if you like this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And there you have it. Dry aged beef right here in the Poor Man's Gourmet Kitchen. Thank you for watching, and be sure to stop by PoorMansGourmetKitchen.com for more recipes and exact ingredients.